Good morning. It is 7 a.m. and I just finished my first workout of the day. Having to adjust from staying up so late every night to getting up early is going to be hard, but yesterday I was up at 7, today I was up at 6, and tomorrow I will be up at 5, and then I will be hopefully up at 5 every weekday for the rest of the winter and into the spring because of my new job. I'm about to make the same breakfast I always make, and then I am going to spend some quiet time with God before I go work on editing this video from a coffee shop. So let's go. Like I said, this is called balanced living, not perfect living, okay? The only perfect one was Jesus. Welcome back to another episode of The Whole Journey. Today is the very first Monday motivation, but it's a Wednesday. But it's Wednesday, October 1st. So I felt like if I'm going to start a new series, I might as well make it on the 1st instead of the first Monday, you know? Anyway, so today we're going to talk about, first of all, how did I gain 50 pounds in the first place? I was eating more than I was burning. I was consuming more calories than I was expelling. And over the course of 3 years, I gained 50 pounds. So I'm going to show you a picture of what I looked like when I first started college, and then what I looked like my junior year when I realized I had a serious weight issue going on. It wasn't like I just overnight decided to completely throw my diet out the window. My freshman year, I went from 200 to 211 pounds. My sophomore year, I went from like 211, 214 pounds, all the way up to like 225, 230. And then my junior year, I packed on like 15, 20 pounds. Over the course of 3 years, it was, if you do the math, to gain 1 pound, you have to have in excess what you're burning, 3,500 calories. So if you do 365 days times 3, then you take 3,500 times 50, it's 175,000 divided by 1,095. And that's 160 excess calories on average a day. So that means that for the price of my brownie that I eat on top of what I'm burning every day with my basal metabolic rate and what I'm burning through exercise, I had to only consume 165 calories on top of that in order to gain 50 pounds over 3 years. And I'm going to tell you, when I got to college, I wasn't sleeping enough. I was stressed out all the time. I was in several really bad relationships. I was sleeping around. I was drinking a lot of alcohol my junior year of college. We were eating out. I mean, every time I had a test or was studying late, I was getting a honey butter chicken biscuit from Whataburger because I was a Whataburger girly. In fact, I was so Whataburger that when I got my Aggie ring, I did it with all Whataburger, my cup, a bag, a honey butter chicken biscuit, like all of it. I was all hub chub, literally hub chubbing it, all the way up to 250 pounds. And I ate for comfort because I didn't have control of anything else. Y'all, I'm a good cook. When I cook, I mean it. And me and all my friends, we were eating really good the entire time I was in college. It was just one of those things where it was happening so slowly that I was not even noticing it. And I feel like that's where so many of us get caught, is in the fact that we don't notice slow weight gain until we look in the mirror and we're like, whoa, when did I gain this much weight? But I should have stopped and noticed when my pants started getting tighter, when I started feeling more bloated, when I started noticing my face changing, because I remember looking different and feeling different. And one of my ex-boyfriends even told me at one point, like, I love you, but you need to figure out what's going on with you. And that was his way of saying, you're gaining weight. Why are you doing this? And I didn't have the answer for him at that moment. And it took me another 1.5 years past that to be able to identify and look in the mirror what was going on. So the weight that I am currently right now is 217, 216, something like that. Got a little bit of water weight going on. I weigh as much as I did in my sophomore year of college. And by the time I get to my goal weight, which is an additional 30 pounds past this, it will be what I weighed my sophomore year of high school. I was a size 12, size 10, 12, my sophomore year of high school. and that is my goal weight. The thing that I first had to tackle was why I was emotionally eating. I needed to go through some serious inner healing to start figuring out what wounds in my heart and my soul I was shoving food into to try to make sure that I wasn't feeling those emotions. It was really hard to realize that something I was not processing was causing me to overeat. And it wasn't just one thing, it was like a lot of things that I was doing, trying to cover up emotionally. So when I got to Colorado, a lot of my stressors were eliminated and I had more freedom. I was able to meal prep. I meal prepped the heck out of, on Sunday, I would cook for like 3 or 4 hours and have everything divided up by macros, like all of it. And I would eat off of that plus exercise. I had a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or whatever, and I was making sure I was getting all my steps in. And I literally lost weight because I was working on my emotions in a way that made me feel like I was safe to not need to shove food in myself to be able to get comfort. And I lost 30 pounds. No, I started losing weight in the middle of COVID. And then I just kept losing weight all the way through the summer. Well, then I got into my relationship with my ex-boyfriend and the weight loss completely stopped. And that's when the really aggressive yo-yo up and down, crazy, like up 20 pounds, down 25 pounds, up 15 pounds, down 15 pounds. It was like crazy weight loss and weight gain. It was so much on my body. I had to leave that relationship for me to be able to keep the weight off. And I actually had to get into counseling and start addressing all these emotional wounds that I was still needing to process in the first place. And now all the ones that were happening on top of it from the relationship that I was in, but I finally kept off the weight. So I had to stop dissociative eating. I had to stop turning to food for comfort. I had to stop not watching what I was eating. And when I was in college and I was powerlifting, I was watching what I was eating so closely that I felt like I had no room to breathe and I was like boxed in. So I would track macros 5 or 6 days and then I would just binge on the 7th day. But that 3,500 calorie surplus that causes you to gain 1 pound, it is not hard to eat 3,500 calories. I could go sit down at a restaurant right now and eat 3,500 calories. And if I wasn't careful, that could mean a whole additional pound of weight that I'm going to be carrying around. When we look at how did we even get here? It's not just one moment of sitting down and eating a massive meal. It's 100 moments, 1,000 moments of just eating more than we need to, more sweets than we need to, more whatever than we need to, eating for comfort, going out to eat one too many times and not getting balanced choices, getting choices that aren't healthy. And we have an obesity epidemic going on. And I was going to be a statistic if it wasn't for God helping me to get my emotions in check. So that's how I gained 50 pounds. And it was really hard to acknowledge. It took me looking at a video of myself when I was getting my Aggie ring and looking at my face and recognizing I looked swollen and I felt gross. And I was like, I just hated myself. I didn't feel good about myself. And when I started losing the weight, I started noticing that because I was feeling better, I was kinder to myself. And that's not to say that I still don't struggle with insecurities because even a couple of days ago, I was out with some friends and I had a grilled chicken sandwich with some sweet potato fries. And I felt fine because everything was gluten-free. I was good. But I had gotten full. And I really don't love the feeling of being full because it triggers me and makes me remember what I felt like when I would binge. But I was a little too full. And because of that, I completely spiraled and was feeling like I had overeaten and that I was going to gain 1,000 pounds and just, die instantly like that. But I still have moments like that. And I have to be really careful of watching my mental health and trying not to eat trigger foods because I don't want to feel like I did back then, even if it's just a psychological thing, even if it's not a physiological thing. But as I start into the next 30 pounds of my weight loss, after praying about it and speaking with my naturopath and getting blood work done, we're comfortable with how I'm eating. I just need to start exercising more and watching my stress. Working over the summer in my job, I was getting 15,000 steps a day. And that totally counted as exercise. And unfortunately, that meant that I was able to get really kind of lazy with the rest of my lifestyle because I was exercising so much at work that I was exhausted 6 days a week and I didn't have the energy to exercise. But now it is on me to become disciplined enough to exercise an hour a day. That's my goal, or 2 30-minute sessions, and ensure that I am building sustainable habits that will keep my flesh in check and keep my body physically healthy so that I can live a long and happy life and feel good about myself. As I get into what I meal prepped for the week, my sweet swaps and all of that kind of stuff, it's because the food is still important, but I've got to start getting onto the exercise part. But I ordered my pickleball paddles, which I want to show you guys these paddles that I got on Amazon. I ordered pickleball paddles and they're vintage. Look at it. I feel like they go with the whole Journey colors. Like they're literally my colors. Can you believe that? So I've got my pickleball paddles now so I can go play pickleball. I also have a walking track at my church in the gym, so I can start doing that, walking around the neighborhood. And then when the winter comes, I'm probably going to have to get a gym membership and get myself to start lifting again. But luckily, I can also get up at 5 and do Grow with Joe in the morning, but also like twice a day if I need to in order to get my full hour. In the same way that I gained 50 pounds, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. It's going to be the daily sustainable changes that I make that will put me in a 300 to 500 calorie deficit a day of burning more than I'm consuming to make sure that I am able to get down 30 additional pounds to put me at 185. I'm really excited. I love things like this that help other people remember that they can love themselves in a way that helps them live longer and take care of their body more, because we are a temple of the Holy Spirit. And I want Holy Spirit's house to be really nice and well taken care of. I don't need it to be teeny tiny. He's going to have a little bit of a spacious house, okay? He's going to have lots of room, but not so much room to the point that the temple is run down and that the temple doesn't live as long as it needs to. But anyway, that's how I gained 50 pounds. And that's going to be how I lose an additional 30 pounds. It's going to be by Jesus and daily sustainable changes and working on discipline. And I'm probably going to do a whole video on discipline next week because it is so important to remember that not everything is what we feel. It's just sometimes stuff that we have to do. So enjoy the rest of the video. Let's get into my meal prep for the week, my sweet treats, and what I am snacking on. Okay, so the first thing I learned when I was working in a restaurant was to prep like a chef, meaning that when I cook, I have like my sides prepped together, and then I have my proteins prepped together, and then I have any sauces or toppings prepped together. Then I can just kind of assemble what I want when I want. So this week I made a sheet pan of russet potatoes and zucchini, and I literally just seasoned them, tossed them in some avocado oil, and then baked them at 350 until they were at the texture and the color that I wanted. And for my protein, what I did was I put chicken in a crock pot with some mustard and some honey and some seasoning. I wanted the base flavor of barbecue without really having to add any barbecue sauce, because at the beginning of my week, all of the meals that I prep, for the most part, are very neutral. Like if I prep zucchini, I'm just going to do salt, pepper, onion, garlic. If I do any meat of any kind, salt, pepper, onion, garlic. Sometimes I'll add mustard as a binder because it just adds a little bit more flavor, but it's not necessarily going to change the flavor of what I'm doing so that I can season it and flavor it how I want to later. So that if I want to do something Mexican style or American style or Mediterranean style or whatever, if I have the basis for it, I can do what I want to seasoning wise. As for sweet swaps, these brownies, I have been talking about. Mr. ChatGPT gave me this recipe. They are made with a can of pumpkin, 3 eggs, cocoa powder, flour, sugar, yes, but way less sugar than typical. And they're like 126 calories for a 16th of the pan. They're crumbly, but they taste like a brownie. And when I need something sweet, they are my go-to. They are amazing. Then snacks, if I'm not doing a brownie, I will also do a Chobani creation. My Aldi has these on sale. They just rotate the flavors. This one is apple pie a la mode, and I haven't tried it yet. But it's got 10 grams of protein, which isn't great, but it also is more protein than if I was just going to eat something mindlessly like candy, which I try really hard not to do. But yeah, so these are also great. And for the piece de resistance, or whatever that means, for the crowning glory that I have discovered. Okay, we use Costco Greek yogurt, full fat Greek yogurt in this house. And if you take a quarter cup of this and season with your heart, if you don't season with my heart, okay? Season with your heart, salt, pepper, and then the minced garlic, the dried minced garlic. I literally cannot tell the difference between Greek yogurt and minced onion. Did I say minced garlic? Minced onion, like the powdery minced onion. I literally cannot tell the difference between this and French onion dip from the grocery store. In a blind taste test, my father, who loves French onion dip, could not tell the difference between my Greek yogurt with minced onion in it, salt and pepper, and the French onion dip that he has in the fridge. He actually liked mine better. So this literally is 170 calories for 2/3 of a cup. I am never going to eat 2/3 of a cup of French onion dip, but I might eat like a quarter of a cup of French onion dip, maybe even closer to a third of a cup. And it has 15 grams of protein per 2/3 of a cup. So again, this with some avocado oil fried potato chips are literally my obsession right now. I get the avocado oil boulder chips from Costco because I'm a Costco girly. And I'll have a serving of chips with a serving however much I want really of this. And it's like the onion's gonna add no calories and it just adds flavor and it's amazing. Amazing. So between my chicken and my zucchini and my potatoes and my yogurt and all that kind of stuff, you guys know that I eat the exact same breakfast every single day. Half a tablespoon of butter in a pan, 3 eggs fried, 2 pieces of sausage from Costco, chicken sausage, and then 2 pieces of sourdough with a little bit of low sugar jam and a latte. And I eat my biggest meal of the day in the morning. Why? Because I need the most energy in the morning, and if I wake up grouchy, I'm gonna stay grouchy. So I need to make sure that I have a good breakfast. And in case you were wondering about my latte of the day right now, I am currently on a pistachio latte kick, okay? I got this at my favorite, well, not the syrup, but like this latte at my favorite cafe. They have a pistachio and honey with flaky sea salt latte, and it is amazing. So I got this off Monin. It's completely clean. It has turmeric as the food coloring, so there's no artificial food coloring, which is so bad for you, and I stay away from that. And I literally add 1 tablespoon or 1/2 of a fluid ounce of pistachio syrup, so it's 40 calories, and then probably like a teaspoon, maybe, which is another 20 calories of honey, and a little bit of flaky sea salt on top of 2 shots of espresso and some whole milk that I froth, and it is amazing. It is my favorite latte in the whole world, and it makes me so happy because I can now have different flavor besides just honey. Typically I do like an actual honey latte. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I'm kicking with this week. And it's amazing because I have my breakfast that is always the exact same. I've got my lunches that are already cooked and prepped and ready for me to just serve up in portions that I want. Then I have my snack options, and then typically I eat dinner with my family. But if I don't eat dinner with my family, sometimes I'll literally just have more yogurt with apple in it, and I'll make like an apple parfait kind of a thing for dinner, or I'll have a sandwich or, you know, whatever. But if I take care of myself for breakfast, lunch, and snacks, regardless of what I eat for dinner, I know that most of my day has been effective and healthy and keeping me full and happy. And that is what has been a massive help in me continuing to have success with my weight loss journey and moving forward with making sure I have energy for my new exercise journey, is ensuring that I'm fueled properly, and by planning, I am able to ensure that. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned a lot. I will see you Friday for Journey Fam Friday, and if not, I will see you next week on the next episode of The Whole Journey.